You're listening to Polished Woman, only on LA Talk Radio.
The Polished Woman.
You're lying.
Hi, ladies! Monday, Polished Women Day, and I don't know, I'm sure you're like, how come there's some guy sitting on the left side of the table? It's Valentine's week, and it's Valentine's month. It's love month, so I think it's good to have guy's perspective, a male's perspective, when we talk about love. And these are like the special love guru. They call themselves love guru. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the Valentine's Day with Love Guru. The ability to be intimate with a romantic partner has numerous components, including the ability to be emotionally open and available, as well as the ability to be physically compatible. Shoot, I love that. What happens though when there's something that's compromising that that intimacy? If you're like our guest today, you find a way to work through in order to make your relationship stronger, and ultimately a way to help other individuals and couples as well. And this is what they're doing now. You have to hear their story before we go to the whole love guru thing. And welcome to our show, Ayla Rose and Jonathan David.
Thank you.
Jonathan, this is actually, aside from my husband and from Max, our producer, this is the first time that we actually had a male guest on
feel
the
so
show.
special.
And my
Thank
son. So you're
So I'm
so
family
special.
now.
Yeah, you're family now.
Thank you.
Maybe if we have something like, we'll invite you again if it's anything about love. Okay.
If you're special, you'll come back.
Yeah, you'll come
Okay,
back.
I'll do good. I'll do
We
good.
have Ayla on the show. So please don't say, oh my gosh, it's unfair. How can he? No, this is just, it has a purpose why I wanted both of them on the show. Okay, so now tell us your story, how it started, how you became a love guru, how you guys started when you first met. Yeah.
You want to start?
Yeah.
The Love Guru started because of bad sex, guys.
Oh my God.
Yes, everything was perfect and magical, and it was everything we ever dreamed about. We were dating for like 2 months, like talking for like 2 months before we even had sex, and then we had sex when we were already in love, and we weren't connecting. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So
in short, you didn't feel the spark, you didn't feel the butterfly when you kiss him?
When I kissed him, but with the sex stuff, it was really scary for me.
I think it was different too, because I was going into it completely sober, because I had just sobered up maybe a little over a year when we met. And so instead of going out for drinks or having a glass of wine at the end of the night or whatever, it was just a lot of really face-to-face interaction. And so I think that was very intimidating for her.
It was so scary.
Really?
It was so scary, because I realized every time I went on dates, you drink first and you're like relaxed and you're loose and everything's fine.
Yeah, everything is like
right?
drinking, yeah.
So you're able to relax your body, you're already in a different state of mind.
Yeah.
But I realized that when you took the alcohol out of it, I was like, I don't know my body, I don't know what I like, I don't know what I need, I don't know how to be with someone I love and be truly seen by them, because there's nothing kind of making my body loose. So I didn't know how to get to that place without alcohol.
And she looked terrified. The first time
was she like shaking?
He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing's wrong. This is how I look when I have sex.
What? Wait, can you like explain? Do you mind if you
No,
share?
no, not at all.
Can you share first what happened, what it triggered you to be scared with sex?
Well, I think I was nervous to start with just because I loved him and it felt different than anybody else.
Yeah.
And
I think, in some ways you weren't aware of it.
I didn't
because
know.
she didn't realize how frightened she looked. And I wasn't being mean about it or anything. It was very loving, but I was just like, I feel like you're terrified right now, and I don't want to terrify you. It felt very awkward for me. And
maybe terrified is not necessarily the right word, but disconnected. Like my body and my mind were at two different places.
Okay, so just to explain to ladies, she's like normal, okay? I mean, but sometimes like
I'm normal, guys. I'm so normal.
they would be like, okay, what happened to you? How come you don't want to have sex? Like, okay, with me, because I was molested when I was young, for me it was not I didn't want to have sex. It was more of like I want to have sex all the time. Like it was more of like I became, how do I say that?
Hypersexual.
I became like a hypersexual person.
And that's very common.
And it's very common, and I don't know what happened. I don't want to, talk about
we'll talk about that because that's the same thing that happened to me, except I went the opposite way. So with women who are abused, you either go that hypersexual route or the completely opposite way of like shutting down. Like for me, I needed to relax my body in order to allow myself to be open with a man. And that's what, when we went into this route of like, let's heal this because we want to be together, and it's important that we find a solution to this, because we're not going to throw away this type of relationship, this type of love, because the sex isn't working. And sex is so important. So
it is important.
It's so important.
No,
so
it is important.
We're like, let's figure this out. So we went into the tantric route and the Taoist sexuality, which is something that's been around for thousands of years.
Yes.
And
I've heard of that tantric. I was going to do that one time, but I'm like, I don't think I need that.
You do.
No, okay. When
want
I first
that.
got married, I actually said, okay, I don't need it. But I've been married for like almost 20 years. So it's kind of like, oh my God, it's the same, it's the same guy, it's the same penis, it's the same whatever all the time. And it's the same, so you kind of want to do other things to make it more special, or to make, I know there's love and there's excitement still, and I love him so much. I still like when I see him, like, oh my babe, right, but there's always other things that you guys want to teach other people on how to really make it, make that sexual desire like deeper and emotionally as well, right? So now what can you share? Like, what do you do?
Well, but before we get into that, I think it's important for people to understand there's different levels of sex, and this the tantric sort of philosophy talks about this as well. There's physical, emotional, and spiritual. Yes. And so most people are having physical sex, which is very kind of animalistic, and it's that attraction, and you just want to like get off and have sex. And that really is the lowest form. And then above
not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's
exactly.
a way to go deeper into it.
Right.
It's not like, because a lot of the time what happens is like women feel completely not satisfied fully by their man. And that has to do a lot with the way that we're built. Okay. Women on average take 20 minutes to just warm up. Yes. On average, men take 3 minutes.
I know.
3 to 6 minutes to finish. So by the time they're done, we're just getting started. We haven't even gotten started. We're starting at 20 minutes. So think about that when you're having sex. And what Tantra does is teaches you to be in the moment with your partner, so you sync to each other's levels. So you're breathing with each other. So you're being in the moment. So you're consciously connected to them to move into that spiritual level, to that emotional level. Because it goes like from the sexual stuff, and then you start moving the energy up, and then connecting.
And you can even think about it in terms of your body. The physical component is down here, the emotional component gets up here, and then the spiritual component sort of connects you into the heavens. And so when you start having sex like that, when you're connecting on all of those levels, it becomes exponentially better. You lose yourself in time and space, and you have not only one orgasm, but body orgasms, and what they call the cosmic or the valley orgasm, which is, she can tell you it's...
Yeah, so we went from having, like, basically, at the beginning, when we went on this route, we went from no orgasm to having all these different kinds of orgasms, my body lighting up in different ways. The whole body orgasm, it's like, you're not just having a genital orgasm, you're like, all parts of your body are lighting up.
Oh, how does that feel?
It's like electricity going into everything, and then just waking you up. It's like, whatever block, sometimes you cry, sometimes you laugh, sometimes you're just like expansive, and it's moving all this energy into your entire body. It feels like magic, honestly. And then the cosmic orgasm, which makes you connected to everything. You feel like you're at one with everything and everyone around you, so you're connected to God. And that is something so special that it's like the not that there's a goal in Tantra, but that type of connection I think is the goal for anyone in life, to feel like there is no separation between you and the next person.
Okay.
We're all made of the same energy. And so when you connect to each other like that in that sort of way, there is no sadness, there is no anxiety, there is no, all those things that drag you down in your everyday life kind of just melt away because you're in this blissful state.
How did you guys start doing this? I mean, of course, when you guys first started dating, you said, okay, I can't do it. And then you're like, okay, let's try it. What made you do other things?
Right. So we were doing a bunch of research on YouTube. YouTube has everything on it. You can
I
find
know, oh my
anything.
gosh.
Google.
The internet is
and
amazing.
So what we were doing is we were just looking up Tantra, Taoist sexuality, different sort of alternatives to sort of Western mainstream sex. And this one thing we came upon was teaching about male non-ejaculation. So men can learn to not ejaculate while they have sex. And my mind was just blown. We were both like, what is this? This is crazy. And so then we began to implement that. And it was so hard to get it right. You know, it was so hard to stop myself and to really like have the control and the mastery of not doing that. But in doing that, what I realized is that was teaching me about my own emotions and my own blockages and my own limitations. And so as you're working on those sexual things, you're also working on the emotional limitations in your life, in your body, in your mind. And so all of a sudden, things are just working better and I'm understanding more, and now I'm starting to get a grasp on this. And so sex is lasting longer, which is allowing her to get more into it and her body to open up more. And so at first it was a very rocky experience and it was very frustrating for me. I felt like maybe how it would be if you've never played golf and then you're like, you just start, right? You don't know anything about it and you're like hitting the ball over there and over there. And all you want to do is get down there. And so it took a while for us to get the hang of it, but when we started out, we would have these incredible experiences sometimes. I mean, the one time we had sex for like 5 hours and we didn't even realize it. We had no clue.
Our bodies gave out.
We just collapsed out of exhaustion. And then we realized it had been like 5 hours later. And
5 hours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so we would have these wild experiences, and then you think like, oh, now I have it, but then you don't, and you know you have to work through some more stuff. So it's an ongoing process.
So we read all of these books, we researched online, we took classes, we did all these tantric exercises to open our bodies up.
Is
and
the
connect.
tantric exercise, does it really, like work?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like especially for women, it teaches you how to open up your body. And there's a lot of shaking and like movement and like tapping you into yourself, because for women, it's more about opening up. For opening up and letting go. For men, they just have to go. They're ready. They're primed to start. But for us, it takes a while. So it's about releasing all of like the tension that we have in our bodies, making ourselves, all this crap that they tell you about, Kegels, like getting tight. We're very good at getting tight. We're not good at getting like loose and soft and letting ourselves enjoy ourselves. A lot of the time we're just thinking about what we have to do for the rest of the day. And we don't allow ourselves to enjoy the moment. And this is all about enjoying the moment and letting go.
Okay, so wait, hold on. 5 hours. That's like really long. Okay, so you said with guys, with male, it takes you guys 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? But with women, it takes a while, right?
With men, you just have to grab them.
Yeah,
they're fine.
I know. How can you make a woman aroused though? I mean, how do you arouse them?
Well,
thinking this is gonna be. It's actually the moment that it's very hard. Especially. Okay, I want to talk to the women who have kids, 3 kids, who have been married for a long time.
Yeah,
I have a trick for you.
Yeah. Okay. What?
For the women who do have those time constraints,
yes,
a timer is actually the sexiest thing you can use. I love it.
She
because
loves the timer.
I love it because when I'm
Timer?
busy, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Like the stuff that you use for baking or
Yeah.
Or your
Oh my
iPhone.
God.
Your iPhone. Come on.
iPhone?
Like,
Okay, hold
This
on.
has been. This
We
has
actually
been
did
great.
this yesterday because we had a very busy day, and in the middle of the day, we had this little window before we had to get ready, and I was like, "Oh, like let's play around a little bit." And she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we have things to do," and I was like, "How long can we do this?" And she was
Yeah.
like, "30 minutes." Okay.
Because in those
And
30
so we set the
minutes that we
timer.
have, you can actually let go. You're not thinking about all the things you have to get done. You're not thinking about, oh my God, I'm not going to have enough time. No, set aside time for yourself, for connecting with your partner, and you're actually able to let go in that time and not think about anything else.
And so the timer will like just, alarm.
Yeah,
and
It,
you're
it,
done.
it's actually, it gives you space because you know when that alarm goes off, we're done.
Yeah.
And so then you can just
Enjoy.
relax instead of being worried
Relax.
about running.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
so much sense.
It sounds
Oh my gosh.
It sounds
Yeah.
weird and like it wouldn't be sexy, but
Yeah.
it actually is because, especially for women, we're so in our heads a lot of the
Yeah.
time. And if you have that,
No,
that
no, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like, we're having sex. We're like, oh my God, did I
Yeah.
lock the door while
Yeah.
we're having sex? Did I lock the door?
Yeah.
Did I wash the dish? How about the dogs?
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
so preoccupied. And I mean, yeah, that's so true. The timer would actually help you. Oh, maybe I should do that. The
Yeah.
timer
It's so
could actually
good.
will set you up like, okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm not gonna think of anything,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna.
And it works. It works so well. I mean, she loves it, and I love it because she loves it. And that's the thing is
that's
that
so
you start to
true.
like when you're in this like the. I want to say that all this stuff we're talking about applies to same-sex relationships as well. It's not a male-female thing, and we have to be very clear because a lot of times we talk because we're in a hetero relationship. And people are like, oh, what about this or that? It works for everyone. So no matter what your dynamic is or who you're with, this stuff works. And a lot of times you have a more masculine partner or a more feminine partner.
Yeah.
And so even in same-sex roles, this applies. Like the A-type personality might need a timer, or the more relaxed one might, so just take it for what you need and take that out of it and apply it to your relationship. I feel like it's important to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk about this first, like before going into it, or you just feel it? Like, do you guys
the
talk?
timer thing, or
No, I
what?
mean not the timer, just like the whole making love. I mean, do you with people who have kids and who are busy? Sometimes the date night is on a certain day, on a certain hour. Like, of course, there will be quickies and stuff, but there are times that there's just no time. Like, do you guys? Is it better for couples to talk about like a certain day and a time when they're gonna have sex, or it's better that it will just come spontaneous?
It's
I mean,
both. It's
Yeah,
both.
it's all
actually.
over the place.
If you plan stuff
Yeah.
and make stuff happen for that, you actually open yourself up for more spontaneity because you have something planned. It just
Yes.
opens the door for that. Like when we
Okay.
have stuff planned, it happens on that day, but then I feel more like relaxed, and then it just you get tap in more into the moment, and then when you tap into that moment of like, oh, I'm feeling kind of excited, then you just go with it.
Yeah.
You
And-
somehow make the time.
And there's a good thing for that too, is to take like let's say we schedule twice a week. Like one of those days it's all about what she wants. And so maybe she wants it to be slow and like really slow music and nice smells and candles
that's
and really
so
like
good.
beautiful. And then
Yeah.
maybe one time of the week it's what I want, and maybe I want it to be like more like a ferocious or in the moment. And so it's
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to
Ferocious.
allow each other to have your own times.
Yeah. So it's so fun too because you get to discover more about what your partner likes, and you're able to satisfy fantasies for each other when you're planning that stuff out. So try to make it a
Okay.
little more exciting when you are planning date night.
And one of the biggest things that people do, and we're all definitely victims of this, is we put sex last. We put our whole morning, day, taking the kids to school, picking them up, dinner, da-da-da-da-da, and then at the end of the day, it's like, oh, let's be sexy now. No, you're
Nobody
exhausted.
wants to be sexy at
There's
10
no
o'clock.
way you're going to be sexy at 10 o'clock at
Yeah.
night after you've had a full day of the kids. So it's finding those little moments, those little pockets of time in the daytime, in the morning, even when you wake up, just get at it and see how
That actually is so good because it starts off your day. Imagine starting your day off with an orgasm.
Yes.
Like your entire body's more relaxed, you're more receptive. You see the synchronicities in your life easier because you're already open.
your blood's
Yeah.
been flowing, you have oxygen in your body, you feel really satisfied and really good, and then you live your day from there instead of giving all of your energy to work and your kids and everything else but your partner. And that happens a lot in marriage. You see people are just getting burnt out all the time, and they're giving their worst selves to each other instead of putting each other first and then using that energy and that love to give to the rest of their lives.
And for women who are single, we do recommend, and for men too, like for both, self-pleasure is, don't think of the concept of masturbation, of trying to get somewhere, but self-pleasure in the sense of like you're trying to discover your body, discover what feels good, be led by what feels good in your body in that time instead of what's worked in the past. So you start to kind of rewire your brain for pleasure in a different way. Because what happens is if you're just used to getting off in a certain way, you've hardwired that into your brain to only have an orgasm in that one way.
This is especially for women because men can have different types of orgasms, but women especially, you guys are multi-orgasmic by nature. And you can have external clitoral orgasms, all these types of internal body orgasms, all this wild stuff. But a lot of women are just focusing on their clit, or they're just, they can only get off in this one specific, or even get off by themselves and not with a partner. And so when you do what she's talking about, you retrain your body. And that was a big thing of what we had to do, is that she was sort of used to getting off in this one particular way. And it didn't vibe with me, and like the energy was weird with it. And so through this process now, she's been able to experience so much pleasure.
It took a while because you literally it's like learning a new habit. At first it's really awkward and you're like, this isn't working, and you're just so frustrated. But then eventually you start to feel sensations in different ways, and you start to feel your body in a different way, and you start to open up to different kinds of orgasms, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't even know my body could do that.
Remember when we had at Party Max and there was this girl, and it's like, how many times do you orgasm? And we asked her, and she's like, I orgasm like 20 times. And I'm like, what? It's like, and she's like, yeah, because you feel it. It's like waves. It's waves. It comes in, and then you do it, and then another one. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, oh, how is that? I did it the next. I'm like, okay, I can't feel waves. It's amazing, like how you're like telling me this, that it's, it's not just the one thing, orgasm, because a lot of moms, and I talked to them, it's the one thing, I think it's the clit or whatever it is.
Clitoral orgasm.
Yeah, the clitoral orgasm, that's what they're looking for, and for them that's like, okay, that's it. Right.
Oh, they're missing out on so much. And your body is already, it's so sad because people think like, oh, I just can't orgasm like that, or oh, my body's broken, but it's not true. Your body is wired for pleasure, and we just don't focus on pleasure in our society. We focus on work, and we focus on money and buying this thing or that thing, and instead of focusing on all the joy that we could be experiencing.
And your brain and your brain is actually a sexual organ. You have to train your brain to feel pleasure. If you train your brain to be just under stress, to be thinking of everyone else but yourself, putting everyone before you, especially when you're in bed, you're thinking of your kids and you're thinking of what to do tomorrow, you're not going to be able to orgasm. Your brain is tied up.
True.
So, but if you're telling your brain, okay, tap into your body right now, what feels good, and stay with that feeling, stay with the parts that feel good, and then when you notice that, they actually start to feel better and better and better, and then you start to feel the waves, because you're noticing them as they're happening.
Oh, so the waves are for real?
The waves are for real.
Can you walk us through the kinds of things that client can expect from a session?
We'll do that next show.
Well, okay.
We're running out of time.
We're running out of time. Oh my God, I'm so, how do you say this? I'm
enamored.
Enamored of, what they're saying, that I'm like, oh, it's already
I think she wants the waves.
30 minutes? Oh my God.
So many waves.
I have not. Okay, if you want to know what you expect on a session with them, we will give you a little bit of what do you call that? A little bit of an insight on how they do it next week on our show. So you better watch and don't miss it, because I think it's going to be very, very exciting. I don't know what they're gonna do to me. My husband is gonna be so happy when I go home. Okay. Oh, they have a sex timer actually.
Sex timer.
Sex
Nice.
timer app.
I like that.
Stuff that they were talking about. So wow, this is exciting. I'm gonna download this. And where can they find you? How can they contact you? And you ladies, I think you recommend for the ladies to come first, right? And not as a couple. How is that
we
session?
have two different things. We have goddess workshops. We have actually two for women. One is about healing your body. The second one is about embodiment.
And then we do a men's workshop, which is about teaching men to become multi-orgasmic and to not ejaculate during sex so they can last as long as they want to.
Okay.
And then we also do our private healing stuff, which we'll go over next week. We call that bridging. And the easiest...
That's about the individual. It's about the individual first before you get into partnership, because it's all about you.
So you guys did that first. You did the whole
Yeah.
Well,
first.
yeah.
We came up with it.
Yeah, it's our own method, yeah.
It's your method. Oh, okay.
So-
All right. So where can they find you?
Okay, so we give amazing advice, quotes, information on Instagram at The Love Gurus LA, and then also on our website www.thelovegurusla, and you can contact us from there. And we are really good about getting back to you.
LA.com.
Oh, .com. Well, yeah, you know what it is. But send us a message. Don't be shy. Like, we really try to reach out and get back to everyone that says hi.
Okay. Do you have any website or phone numbers where
Yeah,
they
we
can
just-
contact you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They can find everything there.
Oh, you can lovegurusla.com.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't forget, contact them if you need. Don't be ashamed, right?
No.
Don't
Please.
No shame.
embarrassed.
Everybody has-
Everybody.
We've
everybody
heard-
need. Yeah.
We've
Everything.
heard everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. They know that. I mean, I told them I'll tell them. They'll know about. But I'm excited for next week. So I won't. Oh, okay. Hold on. Whether you're in a happily committed relationship, single, or somewhere in between, I urge you to take the time and check in with yourself. Think about what it is that makes you feel good, what it is that makes you feel sexy, and how it is that you like to express intimacy and love. Okay, this is so important. Okay, I'm excited for next week. Tune in at 1 p.m. Okay, and they're gonna show you an insight of what you normally do for their workshop. So see you. Give love to the next person that you see after watching the show. Goodbye.
The polished woman.